to the Fantasy League Coverage Network, presented to you by the people over at the Eye Test Network. I'm your host, Mark Coles, and I'm here with my co-host, Shawn Williams. And we will be continuing our draft coverage and hopefully the last video of the Fantasy Football 2021 Trash Player League Draft. So, with that being said, let's get into round 6.
It's the Trash Player League. Let's get it.
And Justin Herbert being taken here in the 6th, that's a good pick. Gus Edwards being taken here in the 6th, that's a good pick as well. Honestly, would you have taken, I kind of think, I left Gus Edwards around because I figured maybe he'd be around in the 7th.
If you're not gonna catch the ball, I need touchdowns. And
That's
Gus Edwards ain't catching the ball, and he's not getting touchdowns. I don't like Gus Edwards. I was surprised that he was taken at this point. I did think he was gonna fall further, but at this point, people just saw he's gonna be the lead back in Baltimore. Well, I'm not gonna say lead back in Baltimore. They saw he's gonna be a lead back on a team that runs the ball a lot.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you're not going to get those PPR points, Mark, then what do I care if he runs for 90 yards? That's 9 points, Mark. I need more than 9 points. You're not going to, you know what I mean? That's the way I see a lot of decent yard, no touchdown games for Gus Edwards.
Right. Tobias pick. And Tobias takes Tom Brady here. Well, if you got Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, you better take Tom Brady. So,
see, but that just makes it even more disgusting. He's really riding with the Bucks. I mean, does he have any Bucks jerseys in his closet? I'm trying to figure this out, Mark. He's really riding with the Bucks on this one, but he does a Tom Brady is the GOAT to him. We've had this discussion with him, this back and forth with him. So how he feels about Tom Brady. So it's no surprise to me there.
Hey man, legitimately,
Tom Brady.
I'm not going to be surprised if that particular tandem does something does it have a game where they combine for 90 points.
Well, I'll say this: Tom Brady in round 6 is somewhat of a steal.
I think not. I just think that's where he should be taken. I think that's appropriate value. I don't know. I don't think it's a steal. I just think that's appropriate value.
You can go to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm next. Yes. My bad. Ronald Jones. You think I wanted to take Ronald Jones here, Mark?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I didn't. I did not want to take him.
So
I almost took Brandon Ayuk. I almost took another wide receiver, Mark, and I couldn't do it. I was all burnt out. I looked at my wide receiver core, and I was like, how much is enough, Mark? I just have to get a running back, because if I pass now, then who knows who the hell is going to be there on the back end. I do not want to see what was on the back end of skipping out on a run back at this point. So I took Ronald Jones. Tampa Bay seems intent on letting Ronald Jones run the ball until he fumbles. So until he let him run the ball until he fumbles, Mark. That's what it is right now. Sometimes they'll pass to him. Sometimes they bring in Leonard Fournette. Some days they just say, Leonard Fournette, you're the lead back. So it's a really shitty situation. I didn't want to take him, but if I had to decide between him, Leonard Fournette, and Gio Bernard, I was going with Ronald Jones. He's going to give me the most consistency out of those three. And that's where I was at, man.
So anyway, after your Ronald Jones pick, I came up and I took DJ Moore. And I feel like DJ Moore was a bit of a steal in the 6th round.
Yeah. He's one of the other receivers I thought about taking instead of Ronald Jones, yes.
Like, I feel like I don't know if he's really that much of a steal. Like, for me here, it was between DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Yes, I looked at both of them.
And I just took DJ Moore simply because he was the younger guy, and he, even amongst bad quarterback play, he manages to get 1,200 yards for the last 2 years. So I was like, well, all right. So it was a flyer between him and Robbie Anderson. Part of me feels as though Robbie Anderson would have been the better pick because Robbie Anderson and Sam Darnold's chemistry. But Brandon Ayuk was taken by the computer here.
Good.
So that is what it is. I mean, 49ers receivers, right? Who cares?
Hey, I'm going to tell you, like, first off, that was derogatory. But on a real note, that ball gets run around so much. I don't know why anybody would take anybody on my team in this offense, in fantasy football outside of Kittle.
All right. And next was Adam Thielen taken by Sharice. This was a computer pick. I do know that. And then Chase Edmonds comes off the board. Adam Thielen in the 6th round, don't have a problem with that, especially when that's your third receiver.
That might be a steal.
Yeah.
That might be a steal.
That's your third receiver. The only issue is that he's getting older, and last year you definitely saw a difference between that and the year prior. Like, we saw the changing of the guard. That's Justin Jefferson's team now. So
yeah, but Thielen is still a guy that's probably going to get over 1,000 yards catching. He's probably still going to get you 10 touchdowns. And
he's definitely going to piss off. He's definitely going to piss off Jefferson owners a game or two
because he knows how to. He got a knack for finding the end zone, Mark. Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like he's going to be lingering. He's going to be like Larry Fitzgerald. You just hoping for this motherfucker to retire, but somehow he's still getting targets and getting catches. Like he's that guy. So, yeah, he is going to piss off some Jefferson orders because he is going to steal some shit.
Chase Edmonds, I
don't have nothing really to say about that. I already said how I felt about it. I feel like that's a decent pick right there.
It's the 6th round. It's the 6th round. So
what can you do at running back at that point?
Exactly. Like, I don't like it, but I don't have nothing to really go against it with. Actually, I'm kind of lying, Doug. I do have a bit of a problem with that pick. Because I'm looking now, like, yeah, like if you needed a running back, like it is what it is, but that's the issue. He didn't need a running back here. Like,
how many running backs did he have already?
3. Yeah.
Oh, that's a ridiculous pick then. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, like
he's loading up on running backs. Okay, so what does his wide receivers look like at that point?
He had all right. So this is Darius.
Oh, I see what happened. I remember his wide receivers.
Yeah, Darius.
Yeah, he has Hopkins and Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
So he thinks that he didn't need those receivers because he got 2 solid ones and they're just going to carry. Man, I've made that mistake before, Mark. And let me tell you, all it takes is for one of those fools to get injured, and then you're going to wish you had those wide receivers on the back end.
Like,
oh, man.
Like, here, I don't know where Hawkinson ends up, but Hawkinson is out there. Hawkinson is out there, Higbee is out there, and he doesn't have a tight end yet. A quarterback, basically there was a lot of positions that he doesn't have yet, and he took Chase Edmonds. So I don't like it from that standpoint. Like, there was a lot of positions of need, and you took Chase Edmonds. Leonard Fournette comes off the board for Rodney. He gets a piece of his squad with this pick here. And
that is his third running back.
Yes, that is.
So that's fine.
Yes.
Because guess what? He has 2 wide receivers and a quarterback.
Right.
Okay, so he's already, like, the only thing he's missing is a tight end. If you are going to take, if he wanted a piece of his team, as you said, this is when he had to do it.
Right.
Unless you're going for Giovanni Bernard. So.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And so next picks come up. Odell Beckham goes to Charles.
I don't know what he's hoping for at this point from Odell. And I'm saying that because that is his second wide receiver.
Now, listen, here's the thing about Odell. Odell, I do not think that he is an elite talent anymore. I think he's a good talent, and I think he is still valued as an elite talent, but I do not believe him to be an elite talent anymore. Just what happens on the field shows that it's not there.
I'm going to tell you what I think he is, Mark. I think he's a guy that is a playmaker in space. He is no longer the receiver that he was. He's still a guy that is insanely athletic. He's still a guy you could give he won a game last year off of reverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that, you can still have him do. You can still have, if you get him the ball in space and let him work, then he can still do that. But I feel like you absolutely have to use him in that way. And if you have this team with, like the Browns have, why do you need him to do anything other than run a fly route to stretch the field every once in a while?
Let me ask you.
Like, you have a guy that can work in between the numbers.
But what he lacks in all those other stuff, he makes up for an opportunity. He gets force-fed when he's out there. So,
yeah.
And honestly, am I taking Kenny Galladay over Odell Beckham? No. Am I not? At least I'm not taking Kenny Galladay on the Giants over Odell Beckham. Am I taking T. Higgins over Odell Beckham? No. Like, not that T. Higgins is bad, it's just it's Cincinnati. And
I guess I get what you're saying. Like, that's like, considering compared to what's out there, yeah, but I still feel like there's other guys that I would have taken a chance on over him. Next
is Troy. Troy is up with Jamar Chase. I hate this pick. I hate it. I hate this pick. Mostly, I hate this pick because T. Higgins is, like, if you're going to take somebody from Cincinnati, take T. Higgins. Like, this shows a clear sign that you haven't been paying attention in preseason.
Names, Mark. Clout chaser, as you said. Clout chaser. Okay, keep going, though.
Because, like, Jamar can't catch a cold, dog. Like, what's going on? Like, yo, somebody had to draw, like, they had the meme up where, like, you fade into somebody else, and they had it to where he faded into John Ross, and I was like, dang, like, it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that he recovers, though.
So, I don't like any of the Bengals receivers for fantasy because of this particular situation. You have T. Higgins, and people forget that Tyler Boyd is on that team. And Tyler Boyd actually had I think he had the better year out of all the receivers last year. I expect T. Higgins.
I don't remember, but
not by much, Mark, but he did. If you look at him and the T. Higgins numbers, they're almost identical. And I felt like Tyler Boyd was more consistent, but that's besides the point. The point is this: T. Higgins, unless he's surpassing, Tyler Boyd by a bit, that ball is going to get it's literally going to be evenly distributed between those three receivers. People thought that T. Higgins was going to see way more targets with Burrow, and what it turned out to be is even with Burrow there, the time that Burrow was there, the ball was just going everywhere, man. So that's my thing is they don't have a standout. Jamar Chase was supposed to be the guy, and Jamar Chase hadn't played football in over a year, and Jamar Chase looks like he hasn't played football in over a year. So now you have three guys that and what they're going to try to do is to get them going, is try to work them in. What I'm saying is you're going to have three guys sharing the ball evenly, and I don't like that. And I don't like that the way that Jamar Chase has looked. So yeah, I hate I think he's going to be the worst performer, at least in the very early on, out of those three receivers. You just picked the worst receiver on the Bengals. What round is this?
We are in the 7th. We are currently at the 7th.
That was the end of the 6th.
Yeah.
Still, 6th, 7th, you just took the worst receiver on the Bengals in 6th, 7th round. That's not good, Mark.
Right. Especially now, like here at his pick, it being his flex, I can name several receivers I would have taken.
Endless receivers, Mark. Hey, look, man. Look, what I saw in preseason is not like that man is not going to be ready to play football until halfway through the season.
Right.
That's what I saw.
I would have taken Chase Claypool. I would have taken Jerry Jeudy. I would have taken Devontae Smith there. I would have taken T. Higgins there. Like I would have taken Robbie Anderson there.
This is crazy, Mark. I don't understand. Maybe he didn't watch preseason. I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah. So moving forward in
defense time.
Like Doug, I feel like my guy Troy must have had diarrhea because he keeps coming out and laying turds. Like back to back, he goes Jamar Chase to Dallas Goedert. Now Dallas Goedert,
Homer pick.
Yeah, like Dallas Goedert, I will say this, they want him to be the man. They want him to be that tight end. But I don't feel as though he wants to be that tight end. Like
that's crazy, man.
Like Doug, Zach Ertz is still better than him on his team. Zach Ertz still dominates the targets on his team.
The way I see this situation is Goddard will never be what everybody wants him to be until Zach Ertz leaves. But Zach Ertz doesn't want to leave. I don't. And the Eagles don't want to get rid of him. They don't give a fuck how many times Zach Ertz gets hurt. They're not trying to get rid. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, if you gave Goddard the total amount of targets that they get between him and Ertz, he could be something.
Yeah,
that's never going to happen because Ertz ain't going nowhere. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's the problem, man. Like in order for Goddard to do what people want him to do, he has to get the targets, and he's never going to get those. So he's going to get a decent amount. He's going to have a couple games. It's going to look good, Mark, when he gets 5 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. And people are like, oh, man, that's what I'm talking about. This is why I got him. And then he's going to go 3 games without that. That's what you're going to get from Goddard. He's going to show you flashes. Yes, he's going to have games where he does something with it. But ultimately, he's not the number 1 tight end. And that's the problem.
Right. So, next up, Charles has the first defense come off the board in the 7th round. I wouldn't have taken a defense here, but that's just personal preference. It's not like he's missing any any positions at this point. So if you want to take a defense here, sure. There's going to be more flex play.
It is the perfect place if you're looking for the number one defense.
Right.
Because that number one defense would not be there. Somebody else would have started the defensive run by the time it came back. So, yes.
Yeah. So, you have, like I said, he has all positions filled except for his flex. So, it is what it is.
It's a respectable pick. I actually like that pick.
So, he takes the Los Angeles Rams. I do not think the Los Angeles Rams will be the number one defense.
I don't think so either.
But they are a great defense.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that.
Exactly. Rodney is up next at pick number 3 of the 7th round, and he takes Tampa Bay defense. Now, this was a homer pick. I mean, Tampa Bay
absolute homer pick.
Tampa Bay's defense is good, but they're not out there getting turnovers.
Nobody believes that what Tampa Bay's defense was able to do in the playoffs is going to happen in the regular season. Nobody believes that except for, I don't know, Rodney, the Tampa Bay fan. So, absolute homer pick. I think he's wild for taking them at that spot, as if they wouldn't be there later. They were going to be there for the next 2 rounds, buddy.
They would have been there for probably the next 4 to 5. But
look, man, nobody said, you know what, that Tampa Bay defense, you gotta have that. You gotta jump out there early. Nobody is fighting you for that, man. Anyways, it's Rodney, man. You Leonard Fournette in Tampa Bay. I don't know, man. You really jumping out the window. But
all right, so
get your guys, man.
In 30 seconds, picks just fly off the board. TJ Hawkinson goes to Darius. I've expressed before that I don't necessarily I understand that that that's not necessarily nowhere else to go for Detroit as far as the receiving core, and TJ Hawkinson is the best player on that receiving core. But your quarterback is Jared Goff. And secondly, Jared Goff, his favorite areas to throw is not tight end. They have games here and there, but they also have games where they disappear. So, but if you don't believe in that, and if you think that the offensive scheme will prevail over quarterback tendency, then yeah, TJ Hawkinson is it.
My question is, who is he going to throw to? Rashad Perryman? Look, man, obviously, that's said in jest. The receiving core is not good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to throw the top. You have to feature Hawkinson if you're the Lions, in my opinion.
I've heard people talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown, but that hasn't shown in preseason. But
look, man, you have to feature Hawkinson at this point, or you better be running the fuck out of the ball. You got 2 running backs. Hey, look, make it happen. I don't know. I said, I just don't see how.
No, it's just that my thing is, when it comes to throwing, I tend to look at it from a standpoint of quarterback tendency versus offensive scheme. You can scheme the offense however you want. It doesn't matter if the quarterback likes throwing to this particular person, you know what I'm saying, or this particular position. For instance, what happened in Tampa Bay. It doesn't matter what Bruce Arians drew up. Tom Brady favors the slot.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you draw up and who is supposed to go to.
Yeah.
The QB tendency is going to prevail. And Jared Goff's QB tendency is not the tight end.
Yeah. So it's It's interesting, but I mean, at that point, I still think I'm still okay with it. I'm still okay with it.
Like I said,
It's not horrible, but it's
not horrible. But like,
I don't know if you're going to get what you're looking for.
Right. It's not. Yeah, it's not a horrible pick. But if we're going to talk about these picks, I'm going to talk about my concern for this pick.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah. So, what we got next?
Melvin Gordon goes next to Sharice in the 7th round. Melvin Gordon stays hurt. Like, it's really nowhere else to go from there except for the fact that he stays hurt. And Javonte Williams, is it Javonte Williams? Javonte Williams is closely on his heels. So
I think it's going to be a major timeshare like it was with him and Philip Lindsay. And then, like you said, you add that to his injury history, and boom, you're looking at a not so good situation. Like I stayed as far away from Melvin Gordon as I could, Mark. He was never going to be. He could have been there in the 11th round. I probably wouldn't have taken him. That's just what it is for me. If there's no potential there, and the only potential that's there is negative potential, then I'm not fucking with it. So. Like there's nowhere he couldn't go up. It's not like the backup is going to get hurt and then he's going to be the only lone back. Like, and then even if he was, he's probably just going to get hurt because he's getting more touches. Like, man. There's only place for him to go. He's starting here, which is not good, and then the only place to go is down. I couldn't do that. So,
right. Now, next was Jerry Jeudy to Rick, and Jerry Jeudy don't have a problem with it. If you're going to take a Denver receiver, take Jerry Jeudy. And I actually like the fact that Teddy Bridgewater won the competition. I don't think there's going to be a lot of home run hits, but in the PPR league, you're probably going to get a lot of points simply because he's going to have to march his way down the field. And that's a lot of passes. So,
in Jerry Jeudy, the best route runner on the team, and the only competition he's going to have going into the season, while Courtland Sutton is, trying to get to 100%, the only competition he's going to have is Noah Fant, which, if you know about tendencies and you know about Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to lean more on the wide receivers than he will the tight end. And Fant's still going to get some play, but it's not going to be the amount of targets that Jerry Jeudy is going to see. Jerry Jeudy is going to see a lot of targets. So, I like this pick. I think it's actually a steal for the first part of the season anyway, for the most part. I think you're getting a wide receiver 1 or 2 out of him, depending on the day and who they're playing. But like I said, Courtland Sutton will be at 100% at some point, and that will take away from what Jerry Jeudy is going to do. But at this spot, I think this is a steal, just because of the amount of production that he's capable of giving you until Courtland Sutton is fully worked into the offense.
All right. Okay. Right here, I kind of got pissed off because the computer took Jalen Hurts. I know he probably wouldn't have taken Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts last year in 4 games, he was running all over the place. And not only is he running all over the place, but he's a smart runner as a quarterback. And I love smart runners as quarterbacks. Now, what he can do throwing wise, that has yet to be seen. But as my second quarterback, because I would have taken him in the 8th if he had been there. I wouldn't have taken him here, but I would have taken him in the 8th had he been there as my second quarterback. And I feel comfortable taking Jalen Hurts as a second quarterback. Definitely, I wouldn't take him as my first quarterback, but the computer did because he was the best available at this time. So, at least according to, the sheet. Mm-hmm. You have anything? No. Probably not.
No, I really don't. Not for that one. I mean, it was there. It was auto pick.
What else can you say?
Jalen Hurts. I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
Now it's my turn, and boy was I giddy when this came up. Antonio Brown in the 7th round as my flex receiver. Sign me up. Sign me up, because I'm not sure what Antonio Brown will be. I think that Antonio Brown, based on evidence, will be the number one, will be highly favored in this offense. I don't necessarily know if he'll be number one, but he might be. It might be more so a 1A, 1B situation versus a 1-2 situation. And the fact of the matter is, I think Antonio Brown will be 1B at the very least. And him being my flex receiver, I feel comfortable with the gamble. Like, this is like him being, I don't think you should gamble with your wide receiver too, but if you want to gamble with your flex, knock yourself out. And him being my flex and it being the 7th round, feel comfortable, and I feel like it's a strong gamble. Shawn?
I think Antonio Brown in the 7th round is a good pick, just off of the potential. Like, if at his floor, I think his floor puts him at the 7th round. His potential is 5th round. So if you're taking him at the 7th round, I feel like that's a good pick, and especially if he is your 3rd receiver taken, that is a good pick. It's a smart pick only because if you really wanted him, you can't get him in the 8th round.
No.
He's not going to be there in the 8th round, I don't believe, if you would have waited. So you stepped out there, got your guy, and like I said, potential wise, it could be great. It could be a big steal, but the way I see it is his floor still puts you right at the 7th round. So all in all, even if it doesn't boom like you want it to, it's still a solid pick in the 7th round.
Right.
All
right.
Then mine. I took Chase Claypool at this spot. I was not looking at running backs at this point. The only running backs that I would have looked at were handcuffs. So therefore, I was looking for more talent. And all the talent was at the wide receiver position. So tight ends were already taken. Running backs were taken. Chase Claypool was taken for me because I like the way that they used him used them in the red zone last year. Let me put it this way. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns and he had 9 receiving touchdowns. Ben only threw 33 touchdowns. And he had 9 of them. I expect to see him have more to that, more than 9. I expect him to have double-digit touchdowns this year in receiving, and then I expect them to continue using him in the goal line with the handoffs.
Here's him being utilized in the goal line handoffs. That's fine, but here's a bit of the issue with his amount of touchdowns. Most of his damage was done when Deontay Johnson was out. Chase Claypool, I love Chase Claypool. Honestly, I was hoping and praying he would make it to the 8th because he was going to be my 4th receiver, and I was going to wash my hands from there. T. Higgins, it was the next pick to Big Trust. Dang, this was a receiver pick by you that I like. I like him because of his opportunity, his target volume, and with Jamar Chase having the drops and stuff. I think in the beginning, Burrow is going to try to force it to Chase, but then when it starts really costing him, he's going to be like, all right, that's over. and it's back to the people that actually is going to earn it, which is T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So, yeah, I like the pick. It's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So no, T. Higgins is straight. I think that pick is good. Like a lot of these picks are good for where they're at.
Yep. Robbie Anderson went to Cedric. This was weird to me because this was the thing. I guess if I was Tobias, I would have rather have taken Robbie Anderson over T. Higgins, but he didn't take him. And Cedric, this was his first wide receiver taken. Like this was a major gamble by him. Like with this strategy, like we're in the 7th round, and this is your first wide receiver is Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. So, man, look, this is what I'll say, man. When it comes to those two, you have T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson. The thing about it is, Tobias. I mean, I'm with Tobias on this one. I trust Joe Burrow more than I trust Sam Darnold, and that's what it comes down to for those picks right there. And how much do you trust Sam Darnold? Enough to make Robbie Anderson your wide receiver number 1. I don't know about that, Mark. But then, this is what happens when you take 4 running backs in the first 6 rounds.
But you look at it, and even when Sam Darnold was awful, Robbie Anderson, like they already played together. And
I know that, but I'm telling you,
and so we have evidence that even when Sam Darnold was awful, Robbie Anderson ate. That's
great. I also remember Robbie Anderson being hurt all the time.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. That's what I remember. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that I remember, and I did like the chemistry between him and Robbie Anderson. But they're like 2 years removed from that. Robbie done got hurt before, a couple times since then. Robbie didn't look as good as I expected him to with Teddy Bridgewater last year. It just, to me, I don't want to just be prisoner of the past with Robbie Anderson. And once again, I do not know what type of things they're going to do with this offense. And remember, last year would have been prime time for Robbie Anderson, considering that Christian McCaffrey got hurt and they started going away from the run. So, like, those are my question marks come from Robbie Anderson. But Robbie Anderson being taken, this is why he's being taken in the 7th. So I don't have that problem. Like, I don't have a problem with him taking in the 7th, but
I do have a problem with the team. I have a problem with the team.
Yeah.
Because now I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at, like, yes, you have excellent running backs. You have Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Chris Carson, Gus Edwards.
You can only play 3 of these guys.
But here's the issue with that. Even though you can only start 3 of them, out of any of them, which one of them is catching targets? And we are in a PPR.
Chris Carson is the only one. Jonathan Taylor's going to get a couple, but he's sharing that with Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack. Chris Carson is your guy. I guess he's getting the most targets.
Yeah, exactly.
Got 2 of the 4 are getting targets.
Yeah, it's a I guess situation. And then you have Kyle Pitts, who is completely unproven. Like, Kyle Pitts better be fucking Travis Kelce, otherwise this team is unbalanced as of right now.
Now this is the gamble. Like, it didn't look too crazy until he took a quarterback and a running back after that. The Kyle Pitts pick. It didn't look crazy until he did what he did afterwards. And Kyle Pitts is a guy who, forget about it. He's a tight end. In the NFL, tight ends don't have good seasons their first year. Shit. They don't have 1,000-yard seasons their first year. Shit. They don't even have 800-yard seasons or 700-yard seasons their first season. You look at when Hawkinson first came out, he was like, oh man, he's balling this game. And then he goes a couple games, and, tight end in the NFL, you got a lot to figure out because you're still out there blocking. So in guys, the routes that they run are definitely different. So it's one of those things where tight ends usually take 2 or 3 years to get acclimated to get going. If you look at Waller didn't do anything until his 4th year in the league. And then he became a 1,000-yard receiver. This is just the way things go, man. Tight ends either get hurt in the first couple of years or there's a learning curve. Now, I feel like Kyle Pitts can get past that, but it looked like a good pick, and then you just decided to throw all your eggs in one basket by going quarterback, running back. So that's not, if I'm going to throw all my eggs in one basket, it's not going to be Kyle Pitts.
Javonte Williams was taken by coach in the 7th. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And Michael Thomas taken in the 8th. He's going to the PUP list, but I mean, it is what it is. Like, when he comes back, he's going to be something. I don't know if you could have waited much longer than that or not. I can't speak to that, but I know I was just avoiding Michael Thomas, but that's not for everybody.
I was avoiding him too, so yeah.
Yeah. Tyler Boyd went to Cedric in the 8th. So his first 2 wide receivers is Robbie Anderson and Tyler Boyd. So it would
his
have
running backs ain't good enough for those to be his first 2 wide receivers. I don't want to keep harping on it. I can't. I don't want to keep harping on it. But go ahead.
Yeah. Dang, Tobias took a while. Tobias' 3rd running back was James Conner, who in the 8th. James Conner will be the runner in Arizona. I don't know how that. Hopefully that translates into goal line opportunities. Kyler Murray, hopefully for him. Kyler Murray did express that he doesn't want to be the first running option for the team anymore, because he said after he hurt his shoulder and he wasn't looking to run as often, then he was fairly annoyed with that being the thing that he had to do. So it sounds like he wants to hand that off to somebody else. Hopefully James Conner can stay healthy enough for that to happen.
It sounds nice. It sounds good in theory, but let's keep it.
Until they start playing, right?
4th quarter comes, they're down by a field goal, and they're driving down the field. Let's just say, fuck it. Let's just say there's enough time on the clock to get 2 possessions. What do you think Kyler Murray's doing in the jam, dog? You think he's trying to hand it off to fucking James Conner? This is where all of this shit stems from. Is he doesn't want to pass? He doesn't want to pass the ball in those times. He doesn't want to hand the ball off in those times. He wants to take off. Okay, and that's what he's going to do. So he could talk about, like, maybe the goal line situation will differ. I believe that, but if he's scoring from 30 yards out on a scramble, then what does it matter?
Right.
That's what I'm afraid of for James Conner.
All right, so Shawn, you took Corey Davis here.
Yes.
Yeah, number 1 receiver for the Jets, and it's the 8th round. Like, this is the appropriate place to take him. So not much to say there. And it's your 4th wide receiver. So
yeah, he was on my board the whole time, and I knew where I could take him. I knew the mistake I made in my previous league was I waited till the 9th round, and somebody took him in the 8th round.
right.
Because somebody else was aware of his situation, and I waited 1 round too late. So I wasn't going to do that again here, especially not a 12 team.
Yeah, and honestly, like, this is a good value pick. I think it was good emotional intelligence by you to take Chase Claypool in the 7th and then take Corey Davis in the 8th. even though I feel as though Corey Davis' opportunity is higher than Chase Claypool's. So,
but I had to figure out who might get snatched by somebody else.
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
Which trust me, I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that, and it's a weird situation to where I basically drafted my flex as the fourth wide receiver. So that's and that's why I was so much more okay with taking Claypool.
Right, and that's why I could see that. I could see that's what you did there, and so I'm giving you the kudos. There. I mean, don't expect too much. I mean, you do have Ronald Jones as your second running back.
Hey man, everybody got to have that one dinger on the team, man.
So
I'm just happy I have a running back right there. That's it. Go ahead.
So my next pick was Tyler Higbee. Again, I expressed, this is my thinking here is just QB tendency. You can draw up a play to go to whoever you want. QB tendency matters most. And Matthew Stafford likes his tight ends. Always has. So I like Tyler Higbee. And Tyler Higbee has shown that he can play. He was able to do something with Jared Goff as his QB.
No, I like Higbee.
So.
And right there, taking a tight end that late, if that was who you were eyeing, and as to why you were like, I'm going to go for the other skill positions first, then that is a good pickup, because once you start getting into this territory, it's slim pickings with tight end. So I think that's a value pick for taking somebody that late at the tight end position.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. I don't know why the computer did this. It feels like the computer was just out to fuck Benny over, with this shit. Why did that happen? Washington defense.
I like Washington defense.
No, I like the defense, but right here, the computer was like, oh.
I'll be honest with you, nobody was thinking about defense at that point. Somebody could have waited till the next round. But you know who was upset about it? I was. Because that was one of the 3 defenses that I was going to pick. And I'm like, yo, I could wait. I'm not going to jump out the window. They took LA and Tampa Bay. I could wait. They take Washington defense comes off the board. Not happy about it.
No, in the 9th, I was taking my defense. I was taking my defense in the 9th. But anyway, Ricky is next. And this was the first time I didn't like his pick. The first time in his draft, I didn't like his pick. Simply not that Gio won't have the opportunity available, especially seeing how this is the 4th running back. But in the 8th round, I know
Gio could have been there in round 11, dog.
Exactly. He would have been there in round 12. That's my issue with it.
He wanted his guys, and he was going to go after his guys wherever. So, I mean, on his queue or depth chart that he had, that is exactly where he wanted to take them. So, right. I mean, I get it, but I feel you, Mark. I just have a problem with where it's at, but yes, we wanted.
Devin Singletary goes to Sharice. He is the starter on the Bills, and his yards per carry average is high. The only issue is,
there's something what the fuck they doing.
It's opportunity. He doesn't get the ball at the goal line. He doesn't run it a lot. I just don't like Devin. I don't like his situation at all.
Yeah, no, his situation is kind of trash. But if they do manage to find a way to pull the head out of the ass, it'll be nice. But what I'm afraid of, once again, is he's going to end up in a situation where Justin Fields takes over, it's not going to make it any
Justin
better.
Fields, Devin Singletary.
Well, I said, my bad. Why did I say Justin Fields? My bad. I don't even know why I was thinking about that. Okay, my bad. But Devin Singletary, my bad. Let me just go straight to this. I don't like his situation because Josh Allen is going to run all the time.
Right.
Josh Allen's going to run all the time. It's good. It has to change a little bit this year, but then they're still trying to make it a timeshare with Zach Moss. It's not a good situation. It's not a good situation. Timeshare, and you got a quarterback that likes to run. We talked about this previously with quarterbacks that like to run. If your QB likes to run, you as a running back, you're just not going to get the touches that you're going to want or that you need.
No, you're not. And all right, Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant comes off the board. This Cortland Sutton being Darius's third wide receiver. It's not horrible, but when you look back at the fact that he took Chase Edmonds in the 6th, you probably would have a better option back then as a third wide receiver. So,
he had. There's still Adam Thielen, Brandon Ayuk, DJ Moore. Like there was guys out there that he could have took. To me, my issue with the Cortland Sutton thing is, like I said, he's not going to be 100% to start the season. So you're going to have to wait to get your return.
You just to let you know, you were reading it backwards. The 6th round, it was going the other way. So, so people that would have been available to him would have been Odell Beckham, and so Antonio Brown would have been. It
doesn't make it any better. I see Jerry Jeudy and Antonio Brown. It doesn't make it any better. I mean, just it's still. But either way, you get my point. There was plenty of guys in Cortland Sutton being the only good thing is that Cortland Sutton is your third receiver, which I'm assuming is not going to be your flex because you drafted all these running backs. So,
right.
And the good thing is DeAndre Hopkins, it's not like you're swapping these guys out unless they get hurt. DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen are going to be your every week starters. So, although it looks bad, it's not as bad as it could be because of who his starters are. But the problem is, if anything happens to disrupt what's going on there, then it's a wrap. Right. I'm not gonna say a complete wrap, but it's not gonna be fun having Cortland Sutton in your starting lineup, and then having Josh Jacobs and Henderson and Edmonds as your number 2 running back. It's not.
Yeah. So next up was Noah Fant. Yeah, I don't have nothing to say about that. It's Noah Fant. It's the 8th round. Like, he could be something. He's on Denver, and the opportunity is there because it's not like there's a ton of targets to go around. So
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I just know that at least the bare minimum I knew with Drew Lock, whenever Drew Lock was a starter, he was getting targets. I don't know how it's going to be with, like I said, not going to know how it's going to be with Teddy Bridgewater, but there's only so many people. So that's it. Okay, we got next.
We have Juju Smith-Schuster, who went off the board to Charles. Juju is definitely the bottom of the chart when it comes to Pittsburgh receivers. So
I do not like it. Apparently the man can't catch in coverage, and then he has a hard time getting separation. So I don't like I really don't like the Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't like him at all at this point, but I mean, those are the wide receivers available. It's not a horrible pick.
That's not true. Because I mean, say what you will about the Eagles and whatever, but the fact of the matter is, Devonta Smith has more opportunity than Cortland Sutton and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh yeah, no, I believe you. I would have taken Devonta Smith, but out of the people that are left, be honest with you, man, Devontae Smith, man, I might even take Jalen Waddle.
Right, but Jalen Waddle and they shown in preseason that Jalen Waddle is clearly going to be heavily featured in this offense.
Yeah, so like I guess the Juju Smith-Schuster one is kind of bad, especially considering the Odell Beckham thing that happened over there earlier. So like you got Odell Beckham, you got like, you know what I'm saying? Like you took a defense at one point, and it's like you don't even got your flex yet. So the flex now, the Rams defense thing is not looking so well.
Right.
It's definitely not. If Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be your flex, it's not good.
Right.
So
now,
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon being available. He's a backup.
Yeah,
something would have to happen to Aaron Jones for it to be.
But still, I think that's the best handcuff that exists at the running back position outside of Jamal Williams. And I think that one is above Jamal Williams just because we know what the Green Bay Packers offense looks like. And we've seen what Jamal Williams was able to do when Aaron Jones got hurt. And I think AJ Dillon is a better running back than Jamal Williams. If AJ Dillon becomes the sole back for any reason, he is going to give you RB1 numbers. So I think that's a great pick at that point because, to be honest, I don't know if he would have been there at 9.
Right. Now, this pick I do like, and this was the one pick in the entire thing that I got pissed off about. Like, Pittsburgh defense, I believe that they will be the number 1 defense in the league in fantasy and in real life. And the fact of the matter is, this was the round that I was going to take them. And he got my guys, man. He got my guys. I was pissed. But
yep. That was the second defense, Mark, that I wanted. They took that too. Look at me thinking I was going to pick up a defense in the 9th round, Mark. Look at me.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't have came to you because it would have definitely wouldn't have came to you. Especially
there's a third. I only had 3 that I really wanted.
Especially after you got my defense in the other league. I was like, nah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, so like I said, here's number 3. Number 3 is coming up soon because I had a third one on my list, and all 3 of them got taken on this run here.
So next is Charles, and he takes Zach Moss here. Zach Moss, like, it's a bit of a timeshare in Buffalo, so he has opportunity, but I don't like it. This is another situation where you're hoping somebody, you're hoping some injury happens and he becomes a lead back. Like, that's not a pretty situation. Right.
And even if he was a lead back, it's still not pretty. Kenny Galladay, you didn't even show it yet.
Yeah, no. Kenny Galladay went next. Kenny Galladay is the number 1 receiver in the Giants. If you believe in the Giants, great. But if you don't, then you have issues with this pick. But Kenny Galladay will be the number 1 receiver. Probably the only receiver, because who else they going to throw it to? Evan Ingram? That dude is garbage. And I think he's hurt now. So
he's always hurt, man. And that's the problem. The other guy they have there they still have Sterling Shepard, who is also another guy who gets hurt all the time. Look, man, I just don't like any of the Giants receivers. Just plain simple. All right.
All right. So picks came in fast and in a hurry here. Ryan Tannehill to Darius. The patience on Darius to take a QB in a 9th and end up with Ryan Tannehill is good. It was real good. I mean, I really don't like his 6th, 7th. Well, I don't like his 6th and 8th pick. His 7th, I understand, but his 6th and 8th pick, I don't like it all. But so I just feel as though he could have did better there. But Ryan Tannehill is excellent. San Francisco D goes to Sharice.
There it is, the third defense that I wanted gone.
Now, here's the San Francisco's D. Like they faltered last year mostly due to injury. Now, I will say this though: the people that were injured from San Francisco D, they are injury prone, so they may very well be injured again this year. So,
well, this is it, yeah, and that's why they were third on my list of defenses to take early. In to be honest with you, I mean, that's probably the first good pick
that she's had in a while,
like in a very long time. So I do like the San Francisco taking them at that time. They weren't going to be there on the back end. And if San Francisco defense stays healthy, then we already know what their potential could be. So, yeah, so that's a good pick there. But there's a reason why that's the fifth defense taken.
So, Ricky takes Jamal Williams. There's like that was a pick made purely out of potential, and it being the ninth round, you like it. Justin Tucker, the computer took a kicker. Like I thought they took that out of the system where the computer would just be taking kickers early and shit.
Well, it's just because of where Justin Tucker is rated, but who gives a fuck? You know what upsets me is I wanted Justin Tucker, so it doesn't even matter. Like Mark, at this point, everything's just coming off the board that I want to do. Baltimore defense gets taken next. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
no. Once my defense was taken, I was like, yo, I have to get a high turnover defense. And Baltimore was like, I think the last high turnover defense available. So like, cause we all know Baltimore forces the fumbles. So
yeah. So
yeah, moving forward. Took a while for that pick there, Shawn.
Yeah, because I was trying to decide whether I should take a defense. And then I started going back, digging into the skill position pool. You know, I put my little flex filter on there and seeing what was popping up. And I'm like, man, there ain't shit out here. And these fools took my kicker and defenses that I wanted, Mark. My whole plan got fucked up. So, yes, it took me a while, but I did find this gem in Mike Williams there. So I did feel like I recovered, even though I didn't get the defense and all that stuff that I wanted to take. So yeah, Mike Williams, I saw him there. It was another player that I was looking at outside of Mike Williams. Yeah, I was looking at Mike Williams and I was looking at Devontae Smith. I looked at Deebo Samuel and passed again. I saw Michael Pittman and I remember I don't like how the Colts spread the ball around. Brandon Cooks I didn't want to touch. And then once I started, the only other person I looked at was DJ Shark. And I felt like it was too early to take him.
Yeah, especially how he's coming off injury.
Yes, and I liked Mike Williams being the second guy on that team because they no longer have Hunter Henry, and Herbert didn't like throwing to the tight ends anyway. So, and I'm like, okay, and then Tyrell Williams is no longer there. So they don't have the whole 3 wide receiver thing going on. So I'm just like, okay, we got 2 wide receivers, and then you have Austin Eckler. So I just feel like being the number 2 guy, which it's not like Keenan Allen gets way more targets than Mike Williams. He's going to get more targets than Mike Williams, but it's not going to be that large of a gap. So I think getting a high number 2 guy that late in the draft is why I took him. I was like, I feel like his potential is there. So once again, I just taken best available, Mark.
Devontae Smith went, Jalen Waddle. Yep. So Devontae Smith goes to Tobias here. I like it. I actually like it better than T. I like it better than T. Higgins a little bit. Now, here is where Cedric kind of makes up for it on his draft because he gets Jalen Waddle here. And I think Jalen Waddle has better opportunity than Tyler Boyd. So So I think that actually was pretty good there. So Jalen Waddle kind of helped his receiving core recover a bit. How do you feel about that?
I think it's one of the better picks that he got, especially how late it was. I think he got more value there than he did at the Robbie Anderson pick.
Right.
But I understand why Robbie Anderson was taken at that point. So, but yes, I think that is getting a little better. It's getting a little better. He needed that because I like Waddle as his wide receiver too, as his second wide receiver. I like that situation better than a Tyler Boyd one. So he got his wide receiver too a round later, but he got it. So
right. Now Deebo Samuel is next. I don't have anything positive or negative to say about the pick. It is what it is at the 10th.
I don't like his receivers, but he's not too concerned about that. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't like his receivers. Look, he has Austin Eckler. He has Mostert. You know, between those two and maybe a couple of Clyde Edwards-Helaire games, he's going to be okay-ish at the running back. He's going to be okay at running back. CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett, it should be okay-ish, you know what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying? But then you go to Michael Thomas and Deebo Samuel, and that's why I don't like it, is because he's going to be forced to start Tyler Lockett and CeeDee Lamb every week. I don't think at this point in the Niners offense that Deebo Samuel is somebody that you could say, ooh, I like this matchup, and then just throw him in there. Michael Thomas' situation is his situation, but I understand it. Michael Thomas can turn into a lot more than what it is right now. It can. So that's more of a handcuff. I feel like that's the way I see it. So, I mean, it is what it is. Deebo Samuel pick is just kind of whatever to me.
Right. So, Michael Pittman. So Logan Thomas goes off the board to coach. Logan Thomas has a lot of potential.
Speaking of patience, to wait for that guy. Yeah. This is another one of those situations, man. Logan Thomas is somebody who I personally feel, when you talk about opportunity, I know how you feel about Hawkinson with Stafford as a QB, and I personally feel like Logan Thomas can give you TJ Hawkinson numbers. So like getting him this late is definitely a steal. It's kind of a steal to me, and it definitely showed great patience. Like you could tell that he knew that's who he was going to get, and he waited for him at that spot.
Right. So here. We are in the 10th round, so this will be the last round that we will be covering. We will be speeding through the rounds from 10. So Michael Pittman is next up.
It's a good pick for where he was taken at.
Yeah, like it's Cleveland defense goes to a big trust. I think Cleveland defense was a high quality defense to take.
I think it was too.
Yeah, it just didn't translate into a whole lot of points, but they are a good defense.
I don't like the lack of turnovers, and that's why they weren't on my list.
JD. Okay, so you took JD McKissick here this is your third receiver.
Third running back for the running back.
Third running back. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and J.D. McKissick was just, hey, I need somebody that's going to at least catch the ball to give me some points. It's hey, just maybe something happens and he becomes a lead back, and that's just what it was, handcuff kind of, but a handcuff that's going to catch out of the backfield in the meantime.
Right. My next pick was Shenault. I like my Shenault pick because Trevor Lawrence is showing that he can pass and he's going to pass, and I already have a piece of the Jaguars offense with James Robinson, and with Trevor Lawrence being there and being a good passer, we've seen in this preseason that Shenault is going to be featured in this offense. And
right now, the only competition, remember right now, really is Marvin Jones.
Right. And we've seen, like we discussed already, DJ Shark is nursing an injury, and Marvin Jones is in fact nursing an injury. He has a shoulder.
Yeah. So yeah, that is a I feel like that's a late round steal for being this late in the game, because he could turn out to be the number one receiver on that team.
And then you have Brandon Cooks, Marquez Callaway. Callaway is with New Orleans, correct?
Yes, and he's a receiver that is capable of, you know the type that they draft over there. They got playmakers. You get guys like this in open space and they can make plays. People forget about New Orleans because they had their quarterback situation change with Drew Brees retiring and all that stuff. But as of right now, they already named Jameis Winston the starter, which I personally like, which means they will be passing the ball instead of having Taysom Hill back there. And it's Sean Payton. Everybody's going to the second, if you're the second receiver on that team, which at this point, he's going to be the first receiver. Like, you're going to eat. First, second, third receivers are going to eat. This is a late round steal as well.
Right. So, Harrison Butker, kicker, goes to Sharice. He's a good kicker. No problem with it. It's the 10th round. So it is what it is. All right. Darius took a while for this pick. He takes Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, if you're going to take receivers from Miami, then I would say Mike Gesicki is one of them. The way I see it is that this is the target share. The target share for Miami is Jalen Waddle, Myles Gaskins, Mike Gesicki. That's the target share.
Well, they still have Devontae Parker, don't they?
Yeah, they do have Devontae Parker, but Devontae Parker seemingly has fallen
by the wayside. They just kind of, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Mike Gesicki as a backup tight end.
Yeah, I think he's a great backup. Yeah.
Tony Pollard to Rodney.
He has Zeke.
Yes.
Enough said.
So that's the handcuff. Excellent handcuff. It's always nice when you could get your handcuff.
Yeah, true.
Michael Gallup goes to Charles, and Young Ho goes to Troy. I wanted Young Ho too.
I wanted him, like I said, I wanted Tucker, and I ended up taking Mike Williams because he was still out there, right? I wanted Tucker or a defense. I really wanted a defense. And then Tucker got taken. I'm like, okay, whatever. Waited. And then, of course, I'm thinking I'm going to get a kicker on the back end. And, Butker gets taken. Young Ho gets taken.
Okay.
And then I don't care about any of the rest of these things.
Right. We're going to, yeah. And we're going to fly this, Sean, the way we're going to do this now is I'm going to keep pressing forward. You let me know when to stop on a player that stands out to you.
Okay.
So everyone, now we're in the 11th round, and if you're familiar with fantasy football, things get a little more up in the air, and you're kind of just taking flyers on guys and based on potential. So we're going to just move through, and if anything stands out to us, we'll talk about it then. So Okay, Darnell Mooney was taken by Darius. Darnell Mooney, if Justin Fields gets on the field sooner than later, Darnell Mooney may actually end up having some value because he is the number 2 option on that team for passing.
Okay, I wanted to stop right there. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Pat Freiermuth, or whatever his name is for the Steelers. He's the best tight end on that team already as a rookie. He's better than Eric Ebron. People don't really know too much about him. Luckily I have friends that are Steelers fans, and they've been raving about this guy all camp. He's a great tight end. He's got great hands. He's a great receiver. He's a playmaker. I expect him to be featured this year. Pittsburgh offenses like their tight ends. So to get him this late, the only thing that's standing in his way, Mark, is that rookie bias. That rookie hazing that they do down there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I expect Eric Ebron to still be in his number 1 tight end role. I still expect them to allow Eric Ebron to go out there and drop 1 million balls. But yes, if Eric Ebron gets usurped by the halfway point of the season, that is going to be a top 6, top 7 tight end in the league.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about my pick very quickly. You can say something if you want. But I took Trevor Lawrence here, and I really didn't have intentions on taking Trevor Lawrence at first at any point, but I took Trevor Lawrence after I got Shenault. I knew I was going to take Trevor Lawrence in the next round because like we've seen, there's a lot of potential behind Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars offense. But the fact of the matter is I have James Robinson and Shenault. So if it actually works out to be something, there's a chance that I will start Trevor Lawrence a few games over Kyler Murray. So because I have that player connection, and it's always better to get 12 points than 6. So anyway, moving on. Matt Ryan taking it.
Great backup for Josh Allen. Keep going.
Yep.
Right, scroll down. What we got?
Oh, okay. I wanted to talk about this pick for me. Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith will be I feel as though he has the chance to be the number 1 target in New England.
He does, and I think that was a great late pick. I know I mentioned him earlier. I think he's going to be a very slept-on tight end pick in a lot of fantasy drafts. He's definitely they like their tight ends. They like their short game. He is a playmaker. After the catch, he bulldozes people. He's a great run blocker. I just like Jonnu Smith as a whole as a tight end. I feel like he wasn't featured enough in the Titans offense, but in New England, he'll be featured just the right amount. And starting the season with Hunter Henry nursing the injury, it's going to whoever picked him, who was that? You took him. You should see return very early in the season, right away. So, who else? So I want to say something about the Michael Carter pick. The Michael Carter pick is really a question mark. I expect them to fall in the drafts because of them picking up Tevin Coleman. We don't know what's going to happen with that running back situation with the Jets. But because I said nobody knows what's going to happen, it could very well be a timeshare, which is exactly why he's down there. But they haven't said. So if it comes out in week 1, he's the bell cow. You just got a bell cow running back in the 12th round. So that's a notable pick. We'll see how that turns out. Cole Beasley, I want to talk about that. Cole Beasley goes in round 13. Round 13, Cole Beasley goes. And to be honest with you, he's got the whole COVID thing, which he's been very outspoken about on Twitter and all that stuff. His COVID views in the whole thing with the vaccination is what might get him in a situation to where who knows what his position is going to be on the team. But if Cole Beasley ends up just being there week one, playing and doing what he does, that is a hell of a steal down there. But the reason why he fell that far is because of all that stuff. Yeah. So the COVID shit is killing people, man. We just seen Cam Newton get cut today. So, but like I said, if Cole Beasley is who he was last year, and you got him in the 13th round, that might be the steal of the draft.
Maybe.
Yes. All right. So before we get out of here, man, who do you think has the best team, top to bottom? I'm talking top to bottom, bench included. Who has the best team in your eyes?
Okay. Top to bottom, best team in my eyes. Honestly, this is a tough question for me because a lot of you guys, I'm just going to say, we did a lot of criticizing of you guys like throughout the draft, but this was just something to talk about, and so we had to nitpick the picks. But in general, everybody really did really well, honestly. So a lot of you guys' teams are quite even. The only, I guess, for me, but if I had to pick one, and obviously I'm not going to pick myself, that would be just arrogant and kind of rude. So I guess I'm going to have to go with Charles. I'm going to have to go with Charles championship team for myself. The Dalvin Cook pick, I mean, it's an obvious choice, but he's going to get the rushing yards and PPR. Darren Waller, Cooper Kupp. And then, he's taking a bit of a risk with Odell, but it is what it is. Dak Prescott, if he's healthy, that's at least 4,500 yards. So I would have to say it's Charles. Although his bench may be a little bit weaker, I feel as though what he gets out of his starters holds up.
All right, so I guess for me, Mark, I really took a long time to do this. I really don't want to pick a best team out of this, but man, after looking at everything, I agree with you. Everybody's pretty close. Even some of the teams with the better starting lineups, they have a lot of question marks on the bench, whether or not it's, guys that they roll the dice on that, may or may not pan out. Like you said, Charles, I noticed he had Juju Smith-Schuster on his roster. He has Odell. Those are guys that might not pan out, but overall, if they do, they're going to do great. So it's definitely, he has some potential there. But for me, I would have to go with, I'm going to go with Mr. Lombardicus Prime, Vach, a.k.a. Coach. Austin Eckler matched up with the new offensive coordinator from New Orleans, correct?
Yes.
That has so much potential. He could do Alvin Kamara numbers or better, just because of the amount of touches he'll be getting. He shouldn't be splitting touches with anybody else like how Alvin Kamara was. It might happen, I don't know, but I think that's his potential. He can hit Alvin Kamara numbers. And then you have CeeDee Lamb, who, because he's going to be in that slot position, he will be getting a lot of targets. Tyler Lockett is explainable. If you've ever had him on your team past 3 or 4 years, then you know what it is with Tyler Lockett. That's solid right there. And then for him to have Justin Herbert, who I've I believe is just going to be out there slinging the rock. He's going to throw for at least 40 touchdowns, I believe. And then Raheem Mostert, here's where it gets a little shaky, but I'm going to let it go because Raheem Mostert, if he's healthy, he's a top 3 to me. Well, okay, I'm not going to say top 3. I'll say he's around 5-ish, 6-ish. He's going to be in that range for running backs just because of his big playability, you know. And then Javonte Williams is a nice pickup. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, as much as I don't like him, he's a clear number 1 running back that's probably going to see catches. It's just one of those things where top to bottom, the only question marks he really has is Michael Thomas. And who knows when he's going to play. But if he does, then that potential is even better. For him to have a possible starting lineup of Eckler, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett, Raheem Mostert, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then having Michael Thomas in the slot with Logan Thomas as a tight end. I mean, he still has New England defense, which I believe is going to be a top defense this year. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid roster top to bottom. And I don't think anybody's head and shoulders above the rest when it comes to the rosters, but this one I would have to say has great potential and it has a pretty high floor, if you ask me.
Understandable. Well, yeah, I guess that's it, huh? Well, it's been.
We'll see how our predictions go, man. I don't know.
Yeah, man. We'll see how the season goes. Tune in for week 1 coverage coming up here soon. I caught some of you guys' trash talk from the draft. I will be sharing that later. So look forward to that. And yeah, man. It's time now is when the real work begins, as they say. So,
yeah. Can't wait for week 1.
So that concludes the coverage of the 2021 Trash Player League Fantasy Football Draft. Thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you listening or watching and paying attention. Shawn, is there any words that you have to say for the people?
Well, good luck to all you haters out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going away with a dub.
Oh, okay. So Shawn is already
like that.
Shawn is already declaring his victory. I think that's a little premature, but with that being said, peace.